Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. Today I'm going to talk to you about drawing pumpkins. The past couple days we've spent drawing spheres, and once you've gotten some nice spheres done, I am going to ask that you start to work on pumpkins. So in order to do a pumpkin, we're going to do the kind of pumpkin that's not like the fully round. I want like one of those pumpkins that has ridges and looks really detailed and interesting. So we're not just going to do one of those plain old round pumpkins. We're not just going to take an outline and draw it like the sphere and just make like a pumpkin like that. Like, we're going to make something that looks a little bit more detailed and interesting to shade. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our middle outline. And in order to do that, I just want you guys to make an oval on the paper, okay? Not too big. You can make a big one once you get used to it, and don't press too dark, because if you don't like it, you can always go ahead and erase and change things. After you have the oval, you're just going to add sections on either side of the oval. So it's almost like you're making a D and a C. So on one side of your section, you're going to do a C, and the other side a D. So it's almost like an O, a C, and a D. Okay, then you're going to keep adding some sides on. You're going to add on some more sections to your pumpkin. And again, as you start to get like it's looking like it's going back, you might want to just make those back sections end a little higher. And then you can also even add a stem, some kind of interesting stem depending on how you want it to look, and some back sections. So some smaller sections that are going to appear to be in the back of your pumpkin, okay? Once you have that, then I want you to think about shading your pumpkin. And as you shade it, you're going to shade each section kind of with that concept of that sphere, where you want to be darker on the outer edges of the section to give it the appearance that that section is going back into space. And then as you get towards the middle section of that pumpkin, you're going to get lighter and lighter. So I shade my first one kind of like that sphere where I go from darks to lights, and as I get towards the middle of that section, again, I'm going to get lighter and lighter and lighter gradually. Again, I don't really want to see where one shade ends. This is not going to be a segregated or separated shading. We want this to be really gradual, and the more gradual it is, the more rounded the shape is going to look, okay? So I've got in my first shading shape, and now I come to my second shaded shape, and I'm going to go around the shape. And again, the bottom may appear to be a little darker than the top, only because the light may cast a bit of a shadow on the bottom area, okay? And then as I come up into the section of my pumpkin, I'm going to get lighter and lighter with my shading. And again, in that section down here, there might be a bit of a shadow cast from that area that's right there, so that might get a little darker. And in the center part of each of these sections, it's going to be a little bit lighter. So if you got too dark, you can always use that eraser to dab it out, like I was talking about a couple of times in class to you already. So use that eraser to kind of dab it out if you feel like you're too dark in one section. Okay, and then I'm going to move on to my next section. So that's the section in here. And again, on the outside of that section, I'm going to go with a nice dark. If you go outside your lines, don't worry, you can always erase it later. Don't worry about it. And down here is going to be a little darker because it's at the bottom. And then I'm going to just kind of get a little lighter as I come to the top and into that middle of that section in there. A gradual change is what's going to make this look really cool, okay? And I'm going to darken up that bottom of it in here. And my little back section in here, I'm just going to kind of shade that a bit. And that'll be a little darker because it's all the way in the back. Now I'm going to come to this one in the same concept. So around those corners, around those edges, you're going to want to make it nice and dark. And as you get into the center of that section, it's going to lighten up gradually. Okay, so just lighten. Get lighter, get lighter. And again, you want it nice and gradually so you don't really see where one ends and the other shade begins. So slowly, like that gradual chart that you guys did for me, you're slowly going to want to go from those darker shades into those lighter shades. And I'm going to come in here and do my next two sections. And again, going from that darker and to that lighter, leaving a little bit of white or very light, like a 1 or 2 in the middle of each section of my pumpkin. And then the back section, which is again probably going to be a little darker than most of the front sections. Okay, and then as you get in towards that stem, that area could be really dark because that's going to be like pushing in a bit. And remember, anything dark is going to give the illusion that it is back in space. And then with my stem, I kind of want to maybe darker on the outsides and a little bit lighter in the middle. And if you put a little circle at the edge of it, you're going to make it appear to be kind of cylindrical in shape. So there's a little quick, easy pumpkin. You know, I could play a lot more with this and add a lot more shading. I could add a little bit of a shadow depending on where my light is coming from. And just have fun with them. Get it done, have fun, and happy Halloween.